There's a lot of nonsense on the internet talking about market saturation, especially in relation to AI, websites, automations, things of that nature. And I wanted to talk a little bit about it, why that's simply not true, why people say things like this, and what you can do if you want to start selling something of the sort or start a business in this industry. So it drives me absolutely crazy seeing this stuff on social media. And I'm not sure if you guys have maybe seen similar stuff where people say AI automations are saturated, this or that is dead. It's all nonsense. It's all garbage. There's a few reasons why I think people say it. I'm going to talk about it in a sec. Guys, social media is an echo chamber. You're going to keep being fed the things that you give attention to. That's the whole objective of the algorithm. They're trying to keep you engaged, keep you on the platform, things of that nature. So just keep in mind that what you see on the internet is not the big picture. It often seems like you see a few different people saying the same things, and therefore it kind of feels like their word is law, but that's simply just not true. Like I said here, a few loud takes does not equate to the actual market and what the market is dictating right now. And I'm going to provide statistics to back that up to prove otherwise. So let's look at some actual data because it's easier for me to say a market is or isn't saturated, but the only thing that's going to prove it one way or the other is looking at statistics, right? So this is a basic Google search, guys. I didn't go crazy. I have resources. I have screenshots that I'm going to put on the screen, kind of showing what I looked at. I just threw it in the Miro board here, but it's pretty straightforward. I mean, there are 33 million small businesses in the US, and almost a third of them, between 9 and 12 million businesses, do not even have a website. I talk about websites because my brother and I are currently selling them, so that's kind of right up our lane right now. We were kind of talking about, oh man, what do we want to sell? We started with automations and then we kind of pivoted left and right, and we were just thinking, man, oh, let's do websites. And I thought, doesn't everybody sell websites? Doesn't everybody already have a website? It didn't seem feasible to me. I didn't know if there was merit behind the idea. And then I went ahead and did some research because you don't know what you don't know, right? And I found that these stats, right? Like nearly a third, I think it's 25 to 30, 27 to 30% of US small businesses don't even have a website. In 2026, in this day and age, in this technological era, this online era that we live in, there's tons of businesses that are still kind of, living in the past, I guess you could say. So, with that being said, I kind of dove into a few of the industries where this issue was predominantly highlighted. For example, you see here restaurants, about 44% of restaurants don't have a website. Cleaning and laundry, like laundromats, stuff like that, 45 to 50%. I don't know if I see as much of a need for a laundromat to have a website, maybe a cleaning company, but auto shops and local retail, 35 to 45%. That's a huge market, guys. That's a huge market, especially local retail. And it's funny, we've been calling auto shops a lot, our scraper that we use to find small businesses without a website. We're getting a lot of body shops. So that's a good industry to work in. And then contractors and trades, a huge industry, massive. 35 to 40% of these businesses do not have a website. So just to give you an idea of how saturated the market is, here's some statistics to kind of disprove that. Um, Guys, it's out there for the taking, as you can see. If you're interested in starting a business or doing something of this nature, kind of similar to what we're doing, this is the way to go. I'm going to discuss why this is such a great opportunity for somebody who wants to start a business in a little bit. But I want to jump into the AI side of things because a lot of people are selling AI automations as well, and there's an even bigger market for this stuff. So websites are nice because everybody knows what a website is. There's not as much of a learning curve. You either want one or you don't, right? It's a very simple. It's relatively, I wouldn't say it's easy to sell, but there's not as much of an educational aspect to it as there is with AI, which is a much newer thing, right? So as you can see here, about 26 million US businesses don't use AI whatsoever, which is a significant number. It's massive. And then more specifically, small businesses between 0 and 9 employees, 80 to 83% are not using AI. I mean, this to me is a golden opportunity for somebody who knows a thing or two about AI, wants to start a business, make some money doing it, utilizing their skill sets. I mean, just reach out to these businesses. I mean, 80%, right? 4 out of 5 businesses could utilize your skills. You know what I mean? So they just have to be open to it. You need to educate them and provide value of some sort, right? Obviously, but the market's there. It's there, right? And this is the direction the world is moving in, whether you like it or not. I have my opinions. I might talk about that in another video, but you're either hopping on the train or you're getting left at the station, in my opinion. So, with that being said, food and transport, about 90% of companies are not using AI. I think there's a massive opportunity here, and I'm going to explain why. I saw an article a while back about Cisco, the food distributing company, and they're starting to implement AI to reduce food waste. There's obviously a lot of value in doing that. People talk about the ethics of AI and stuff like that, and I think this is a perfect use case. Even the tech sector where AI was born from, 57% of companies are not even using it. So it's honestly madness. To my point, if you know what you're doing with AI, you can build automations. You can, most importantly, sell and speak to the value of these tools. I mean, they're like I said, it's out there for the taking. There's a piece of the pie for everybody. You just have to go and get it. There's also an opportunity with restaurants. I was doing some research and I actually had a pretty interesting idea. I feel like restaurants could use AI to one, figure out when the restaurant is busy versus not busy, know who you have to staff, how much food you have to supply. And once again, to my point about Cisco, you could also reduce food waste within a restaurant as well using AI. So I think there's a lot of value and a lot of potential in this industry to use AI. You just kind of got to develop the tools and ideas in order to do so. So I briefly touched on this earlier in the video. Why do people say that these markets are saturated, right? I think there's 3 main reasons. It falls into 3 buckets in my opinion. So the first one being they want less competition. The people typically talking about these things are actually selling the exact thing that they're saying is saturated, which is incredibly ironic, right? I feel like they almost want to discourage people from starting their own business and selling these automations. So, if you believe it's saturated, if they make you believe it's saturated, you're not going to try, which I think is frustrating for me because it's like I would want to encourage people to do this stuff. I mean, this is great. You have an opportunity to develop tremendous skills, which is what we've been doing, and work for yourself, make some money, all these good things, help other businesses too, which is super valuable, and create relationships, connections. So I don't really see any downside if you're in a position to be able to do so, obviously. Um, but yeah, with that being said, the second point I wanted to make, they simply don't know what they're talking about. They just haven't done their research. It doesn't take a lot. I'm not an expert in this stuff, guys. I did a quick Google search and I got all the statistics from the previous slide. You can do the same and find pretty much the exact same stats. They're straight from Google. Like I said, I didn't go do a deep dive research and look into all this stuff. But finally, they just want clicks and views, which I think arguably might be the worst worst reason. Either one or three, but they're just saying things because fear-based takes travel further, and they want to engage people and stuff like that, and I don't know, get you all riled up or whatever it is. So, guys, take everything on the internet with a grain of salt, whether it's true or not. Do your own research, do your due diligence. Don't just not everybody's word is law, So I don't get it personally. This is why I think people say stuff like this. But with that being said, what can you do from here, knowing what you know in this video and taking actionable steps if you want to start a business like this? Here's what I would say. The single most important thing and the biggest thing I will harp on till the end of time is to sell, guys. AI has leveled the playing field for a lot of people, but the real skill is selling. I can learn every automation in the book. I know every node in N8N. I know how to use Claude and Claude Code and all this good stuff. But if you can't convey that value to another person, have them give you money for it, you have a hobby. This isn't a business, right? And that's okay. If you don't want to start a business or make money using this stuff, that's totally fine. But if you really want to monetize your skills, you need to learn how to sell. That's the biggest thing. And in my opinion, just pick up the phone, start cold calling, start dialing. I'm going to make a video about that too. We've been doing a ton of it. Yes, it's scary, but the things worth having in life don't come easy, and you have to do the hard things in order to achieve them. I'm not going to harp on it too much in this video. We'll talk about it in another one, but before you sell, I would say I would take maybe a few days to a week to develop a product or service, right? Learn your product, learn your service, understand, okay, what might a certain market want? How can I build it and deliver it? And that way I can speak to it when I do start picking up the phone, right? You don't want to go in cold turkey because unless you're simply doing market research, which might not be a bad idea as well, you want to at least bring something to the table and provide a prospect value up front. So I would say step one, put something together, right? Go into Claude or ChatGPT, say, I want to start selling with AI. I have a skill set. What could I put together and sell to a small business? and then do it, right? Find some leads, go on Google Maps, build a scraper, and start picking up the phone. You're going to learn how to talk to these people by putting in reps. And that kind of leads me to my third point here. Learn the language that lands with people, right? You're talking to prospects, you're talking human to human. AI will never replace that. You need to understand how to connect with people and communicate, both understand their pain, be able to provide a solution, convey the value of your product or service, and close deals and help these people, right? It's a transaction. You're both growing, you're making money, you're helping this business grow, they're investing, right? And that takes time, guys. You have to talk to people. You can do everything you want behind a screen with Claude and Cursor and Ada and all these tools. But if you're not out there in the field gathering data and information and trying to figure out what works and what doesn't, you're not going to get anywhere if you want to monetize this skill. So finally, to that point, and number 4 is far down the line. I wouldn't even think about this if you're starting out. You can scout, right? Hire sales. You know what works and what doesn't work. You can teach other people to do the same thing. Run ads, right? You know what kind of language to put in the copy that a contractor can understand, or let's say a pet groomer, or all these small businesses, right? You know what's going to land, and just replicate, guys. Build on what you know, build on what's working, and just scale. It's like a hockey curve, right? It's going to start slow, and then at some point it's just going to shoot up and you're going to see great success. So I don't even know why I put this down here at the bottom. It's, to be fair, it's not for everybody, right? Sales is a difficult thing. I think it's a super valuable skill. I'm starting to enjoy it, which I never thought I would say, especially with the cold calling and stuff, but it's really become enjoyable. I like talking to people. I like selling what we're selling and trying to convey value and stuff, and like I said, it's an incredibly valuable skill. But um, to my point in the second sentence, if you're willing to put yourself out there and grow and talk to people and be willing to deal with rejection and all these things, the market is there, guys. Coming back to my main point about market saturation, it's simply not true. The stats back it up. Feel free to do your own research. The way the world is going in the future that we're going to be living in, I think AI will be a big part of it. If you learn about it and you learn about the sales side of things and how to convey the value of the tools to a small business owner or somebody of that nature, I think there's a lot of money to be made. And if not, like I said, it's okay too, right? It's a fun thing to know and learn, and it's going to be valuable for you to have as a skill set as a professional too, which I'm going to talk about in another video. Don't listen to the nonsense on the internet. Take everything with a grain of salt, guys. Develop a filter for things. Do research. Be educated. And there's a great opportunity out there for everybody right now. So, not that it'll be there forever. You know, businesses they're catching up, but if not now, then when, right? So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Drop a like, leave a comment. I love talking about this stuff. Hopefully it didn't go too long. Tons of more videos coming. So thank you guys for watching.